promised it, not just one, but 2 episodes for the reveal. I had to get these guys on because I knew it'd be a very colorful and interesting episode. And it's by demand as well. I had quite a few people asking to get you two on. So today I'm joined by Wes from PESUniverse. How you doing?
I'm not too bad, sir. Yourself?
I'm roasting. It is really hot.
Yeah, it's so hot here.
And these stupid Halo lights, you know, they're so hot. It's great. I love the popcorn. And we're joined by the Gooner himself. We apologize for that in advance. David, how you doing?
I see Gary was getting in the neck for being an Arsenal fan yesterday.
I was like, where's all this hatred come from? I was like, where's all this Arsenal hatred come from? Like, yo, you were getting like unbeatable seasons, and now it's like everyone's just like, Villa trying to sign Emile Smith Rowe, and it's like banter, and it's like raw. This isn't the Arsenal I know. This isn't. This slander can't run. This slander can't run. Even from a Villa fan, it can't run.
We are. If you grew up a proper United supporter, you went through those Arsenal days where it was just United and Arsenal.
Yeah, the proper rivalry is
going to be there. I mean. Let's be honest, right? We know now that Arsenal aren't a top 6 side, so obviously, but the banter's always.
It's always there. It's always.
You know what? I can't even argue with it. I can't. We're not. We actually ain't.
How you doing, though, David?
Arsenal fans are now. Us Arsenal fans are now calling it the top 8, so we can squeeze in.
That's it.
The big 8.
And how you been anyway? You been good? How you been going through?
I'm good, man. Just like everyone, this heat is killing me, dude. I'm way too pale for this.
Well, someone asked me, I can't remember, I think it was on yesterday's episode, it was on a different show. I was like, if it's anything that starts with a 3 upwards, it's too hot.
Yeah,
it's too fine. But we're here. We're going to talk, obviously, the eFootball reveal. We've also got, obviously, a little bit of extra tidbits that have come out today, which was the day after, from Konami social media channels, which is very, very interesting. But before we get into that, for any listeners who don't know about you, Wes, how did you get into the franchise?
Oh God! Well, in terms of dated references, it started with a hand-me-down SNES. It started with International Superstar Soccer. It wasn't the deluxe version; it was Superstar Soccer. And my brother's just beating me when I'm like 4 years old. Like, it doesn't know how to use a SNES controller. And it kind of went from there. It went into like Pro Evo, ISS Pro Evolution, all the way through. Kind of stopped around, I want to say it was around about the advent of FIFA 09, FIFA 10, which funny enough was kind of the implementation of Foot. I then had a pal of mine who was running PES events in 2016, I think it was, and he was like, do you want to come down and give it a go at a game store? I was like, yeah, sure, why not? Like, it'd be jokes. Went and picked us Belgium, and the rest is kind of history. Like, I got to a UK final, then the year after that, I think I got to go to Barcelona as representative of like runner-up as the UK, as the UK. I think me and Fish, but I think you qualified for Milan, didn't you? And I qualified for Barca the next year along. And then I was UK champion 2019. And then, it's just kind of stuck with me all the way through. Joining PESUniverse in the process, obviously that was massive because obviously it's quite a large, if not the largest community site going. And it's in a route, it's a route to kind of almost leave doors ajar, really. But it's since then it's kind of advented into like esport commentary and kind of everywhere else, really. So it's been a colourful experience with eFootball. You
can call it.
I was gonna say I can't do it, but it's been a colourful.
I was trying to joke about it yesterday, but it was just PES, and that's it.
Yeah,
that's the way it's going to be. So.
Yeah, but it's been a colourful experience throughout my lifetime of playing iterations of PES.
Amazing. And David, what about yourself? How did you get into the franchise?
My first one was just Pro Evolution Soccer on PS2. It came bundled with my PS2. Before that, I was always a FIFA kid. I remember there was a PS1 game called Premier League Stars. That was kind of my football game. But yeah, so it came. Yes. It was a good game, man.
Yeah, it was
good. And then Pro Evolution Soccer came bundled with my PS2 that I got for Christmas. Me and my brother just sweated it for the whole Christmas, New Year.
That's the way.
And so that was like my first introduction to PES. It has to be called PES, man. I'm not calling it eFootball for the whole thing. I'm just saying that sounds so weird. Then throughout the PS2, I just was always PES.
Mm-hmm. No,
pretty much. And then I didn't really play many of the PS3 era ones. Kind of went back to FIFA for a bit, and then kind of around like 2016 is when I came back to the series.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Yeah, I was there through those painful, dark years of those early PS3 years. Oh my god, bad memories. I think, what was I doing? Yeah, we were just playing the PS2 version. Every year we were like, let's give it a chance. Didn't like it, just went back to the PS2 version. And we just
I've heard there's a good few. Like I've heard 2010's pretty good. 2013 is supposed to be really good.
10 onwards, it
Gets
changed. It was like, yeah, it was the other side of a coin. But between PS2 and up to 09 and that, it was, yeah, it was dark. The dark ages, we call it. You know, we don't talk about it. But obviously, before we get into the meat of it, which is obviously what you guys thought and the opinions, where were you when obviously the reveal happened? Because
it's like when Michael Jackson died. Like where were you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because David, you were the one on social media who highlighted it the day before. Like, what time is it happening? Like, where was it?
Like the only reason we knew that we was getting any news was because the advertising boards on New Football Game Online Performance Test said announcement coming July 21st. And it took, I don't think Konami actually acknowledged it until the day before. So I was like, do we have a time? Because FIFA had their kind of like spotlight reveal the day before and they had like a time and a premiere set up and all this. So I was just like, when is it happening? And then I woke up at 10 the next day and it already dropped. And I was like, what have I missed? My Twitter was exploding.
That is crazy. Yeah. That's crazy. And what about yourself, Wes? Where were you when it dropped?
Yeah, like, so, obviously through pandemic times, I've been working from home. So it's like I have kind of one monitor that's set up for kind of my actual work. And then I have more monitor just as kind of like miscellaneous in case anything goes down. And then, I started because with PESUniverse, I started to see the tweets come through from them because I have them on notifications just in case something goes down. And lo and behold, it was like, oh, the tags changed for official PES. I was like, oh boy, and then it was slowly cascaded through. You watched the game, the trailer, then you watched then you read the 2 paragraphs that are on their website, and then it was kind of like, well, that's what we've got, folks. And it was just like, I went through the stages of grief almost. It was like, nah, this can't be it. Okay, now I'm just annoyed. Now I'm really angry, and now I've just kind of accepted it. Like, and that's kind of, at least in the early stages, that's kind of where I'm at right now. Is the fact is that as much as I dislike the direction they've gone in, I understand why they're going in that direction. It just pains me that a game that I grew up with and that took me through childhood, took me through teenage years, took me to some of the best possible experiences I could have, is now becoming what this reveal is kind of telling us it's going to be. And that's where I'm kind of at. It's like, yeah, do you know what? I took a year out of playing the last one because it was a half step. I didn't really enjoy it when it first came out, even though I pre-ordered it. I checked it. I was like, yeah, do you know what? Actually, FIFA's coming down the pike. Checked out FIFA, played it all year, and as David has seen, like from the fact of grinding and doing objectives and everything, and the fact that the ability to get players and content and all the rest of it, you can build a great squad on there for a lot less money than it would be if you're trying to plow it in to get an iconic moment or the legend that they kind of hide behind the coin-only agents.
I got 11 Jason Parks and no Paul Scholes when that happened.
Yeah. But you see so many people on Twitter that say it, like, they cannot be oblivious to the replies they get on social media where, I've seen people go like, I've spent 16,000 coins and I didn't get one single gas coin. This is rubbish. Like, I can't believe this. And it's like, yeah, do you know what? Yeah, you shouldn't be having to put, it's kind of been trading on nostalgia for a fair bit.
Do you know what it is, right? Do you know what it is with the reason I feel like with Konami's games and PES, right? You kind of almost, because there's nothing else to do, you're kind of like slowly pushed into spending because there's nothing else to do. Mm-hmm. So when I see the people that are like, oh, I've spent 16,000 coins and didn't get no Paul Scholes or whatever, part of me feels like saying, that's on you, bro. Like,
oh, it is. It's totally
decided to put it in. But then there's also another part of me that goes, to be fair, there's fuck all else to do in the game anyway. That's probably why these people are probably like chasing these icons and opening these packs because it gives them a little bit of dopamine hits that the rest of the game doesn't because there's literally nothing else to do. Yeah. So I kind of feel for them a little bit and then I kind of don't. But yeah, I mean,
David, I love how you say there's nothing else for me to do. And then I remember watching over the year, I'm going to try and do 12 nil. I'm going to try and do 14 nil.
Yeah,
I was like, this guy's setting himself challenges to like get to 20-0. You know what I mean?
That's it. But that's the thing. And I know that the guys kind of touched on it on yesterday in terms of recordings podcast, where they were talking about content creators and the struggle to create content. You have so many people out there who are having to create their own level of series because there's nowhere else to do it. There's people who play with silver squads like the Vernomator. There's people like Precision that play with like, Scottish League squads only. You've got all different types of people who are trying to do their own different spins on something to try and keep the game alive. Like I tried it myself, having series keeps it alive. Like you're slowly getting pigeonholed into it's just rank matches and that's it. And that as well is just not a thing. It shouldn't be a thing.
I was going to say, and then you got the fuckery of some people who only go 3 stars and smash people who are on 5 stars. Isn't that right, David?
I did it with a default team.
Yeah, I tell you what though. It's so much fun when you do it with the default team.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I remember starting out my series. It's so much fun because you go in with a 1-star team against a 5-star team, and everyone's like, "Nah, there's no way you can do this. There's no way you can pull this off." And then you win 3-1, and everyone in the chat's like, "Oh my god!" Like everyone just freaks out about the fact that because. Again, as much as we talk about, skill levels and things like that, it's finding that kind of way and mentality to win. But this is what this game drives you to. It drives you to a win at all cost mentality because you only have, as David pointed out, you only realistically have your rating and your acclaim badge. And that acclaim badge is probably one of the worst things that could happen to people. And I think as a community, and I use the word we, I think we have put too much emphasis or kind of credence into having that badge. And as a result, it's drove everyone to do your whole, let's all play 5 at the back, let's play full blue, let's play it around for 85 minutes, then we'll get a lucky goal, 1-0 GG, see in a bit, you lose a load of points. And it's like, great, okay. So what else do we do now? Like once you've lost a load of points that you could make up from playing the game for 3 or 4 hours, then what happens? It's like, great, 4 hours is wasted.
Well, David, obviously looking back and then looking forward, what was your thoughts then on, obviously me and Wes, if you haven't listened to it, I'll put the link in the description. There is a podcast from the PESUniverse as well, where Wes goes into ultra detail on his thoughts on that. But David, I want to know what your thoughts were. So you saw the trailer, 6.5, 7 minutes long. What was your thoughts?
It looked like a student project.
Wow.
I'm not even, it looks like they paid someone on Fiverr to do it. I'm not even being harsh. Like the voiceover was weird. The editing was clunky. The clips that they decided to use was a strange, like someone must have seen the clip with Neymar and thought, yeah, that don't look too great. Maybe don't put that in. I just, the decision making on so many levels to put that trailer out. The thumbnail. Something as small and trivial as the thumbnail, but it's the first thing you see. It's just, everything is just so B-tech. Like, I've said it loads of times, but can I be run PES that like they're a Kickstarter? Like this is a multi-billion-dollar company and they run it like a Kickstarter. Everything was so bad. And I think they brought that on themselves because they set that level of expectation with that first teaser that they put out. And by using slogans like, it's going to be the new generation of football simulation. They're the ones that use these words. And then they put out that trailer. And that's why they got the backlash that they got. If they was honest in the beginning and said, even if they came out and said, look, development hasn't gone as smooth as we wanted it to and just been transparent, it would have still been, rough to take, but it would have softened the blow a bit. But putting that out after not hearing nothing, it couldn't be me, bro. If I was on QA, if I was on quality assurance, there's no way that trailer would be going out. Even if you have to delay the announcement, there is not a chance that anyone, me or anyone I associate with, would have the balls to put that out. It was so bad.
And then, I mean, obviously you spoke about the year and no communication. And as you said, the teaser trailer, we spoke just after it almost a year ago. We had you on the latest PS5 podcast. And it was really, really interesting because the level of excitement and expectancy from us obviously shot up through the roof when we saw that. We're like, okay. And I remember you saying, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and we'll see. That's what you said.
Yeah.
And then obviously, as you said, it would have been much better if there, as you mentioned, communication drops throughout the year, even if it was like 10 months of silence, and then you do it 2 months before the reveal, just small communication drops.
Dude, it took them 5 days to even acknowledge the online performance test. They dropped it on the store, and they didn't mention anything about it for 5 days afterwards.
It's probably in the drafts, you know.
It's probably, I honestly think it's embarrassment. I think they didn't want to acknowledge it because they was out. That's really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
what was the, obviously you spoke about it, so what was your biggest disappointment from the trailer, we'll say?
I think it's the lack of actual game footage. It's the lack of, and it's even then, it's the game footage, as David alluded to, that they used. It looked, as I think it was Gary that pointed out yesterday, looked very last gen. Didn't look like anywhere
early
close.
Last gen. It looked early last gen.
It didn't look anywhere close to the reveal trailer or the tease trailer, which I think is what a lot of people have actually drawn that comparison on. You know, I've seen it multiple times over social media over the last day or so, where people are going, well, here's what the teaser was, here's what the trailer was. Like, how are they so far apart? But more importantly for me, it is that decision making. It's like, again, as David alluded to, who makes these calls? Because for me, it's like you said, I wouldn't let that go out the door. Because again, if you, and more importantly, if there is, and I say this with a massive if there is some mystical phantom build out there that is so far ahead, I'm just saying, for argument's sake, you then have to question, if that is out there, why is it not the first thing you put in front of people? Because surely, and if you're talking about audiences and who you're trying to capture, you know that, and as I used the term yesterday, legacy fans, because that's essentially what we are, like, folks. Like, you know, if you've been playing it since the ISS days and beyond, or, you know, if you've been playing Winning 11 and all of that kind of stuff all the way through, you're a legacy fan of the series, because that's not what this game is targeting. It's not targeting
I call us the Expendables.
Well, I said it yesterday. It was like, do you know what? They've got to this point. They've gone, legacy fans, thanks very much for coming. Thanks for getting us to the dance. Thanks for Master League. Thanks for all the memories. We're going in this different direction. And that's absolutely fine if that's the direction I want to go in. But don't then expect the legacy fans or fans of the series from way back to then sit there and be like, oh, do you know what? We're very happy with this. Like, no one's going to sit here and be like, yeah, this is good. And again, they could have announced anything yesterday and it still would have got panned. But as you said, it's exacerbated by the fact of there's been silence since the teaser trailer. There's been there's the trailer that's dropped. Then there's the IGN article, which actually makes it probably even worse. And then to tie it all together, it's almost like an imperfect storm of all the bad things that could possibly happen in one go. You know? You know, they've given us crossplay when, okay, great. Crossplay, if it had been PlayStation, Xbox, everyone would be, buzzing, great. But then you give them, you go too far over and go, oh, we'll give you Steam and we'll give you.
But crossplay is not for the fans.
No, I know it's not.
It's for them. It's for their pockets.
Yeah.
Like, nothing that I saw from yesterday's reveal or from the IGN article or for the absolute bullshit that they spouted on their website as well, which I can quote, to signal this new era, we decided to part ways with our beloved PES and rename it eFootball. What new era are you talking about? New era of dog shit graphics on a next-gen console. I've got a £500 console there, and you want me to play this piece of shit? Like, it makes no sense. They're taking the absolute piss out of everyone, and they just don't give a fuck. Honestly, I'm sorry for the swears, right?
No, carry on. It's like,
I get so rattled. I get so rattled, right?
It's always tagged as not for kids, so don't worry.
Mate, I honestly tried to stay calm, right? And I've tweeted a lot, and I know I'm going off on a bit of a tangent at the moment.
Carry on, mate.
But I get so frustrated when, like, we're talking about the trailer and I see people going, that's definitely not the next-gen graphics they're showing. They're showing the mobile graphics. It's like, what fucking world, is someone going to put out the mobile graphics if they've got a next-gen build there in their reveal trailer? No one's going to do that. Then I've got people on my Twitter right now, like absolute PES conspiracy theorists, ostriches, mate, their heads in the sand, right? Going, if you actually watch it frame by frame, Pogba looks different in this frame than this frame. So I think they're showing multiple versions of the build. God. Fuck off, mate. The game's going to be shit. Just get over it. Move on. Like, it's not going to be what you want it to be. And just finally hold Konami accountable for it instead of being white knights of the Konami veil and trying to back them up all the time. They're not going to shag you, mate. the game's shit. It's gonna be shit. Accept it and move on. Like I get so heated, bro. I'm sorry.
You never guess. You never
can
guess.
cut that out if you want, right? But my Twitter has been alive today with conspiracy theories, and it's driving me nuts.
You're talking about gameplay there, so while you're on it, creating the greatest head-to-head experience, the ultimate goal is the one-on-one, right? Motion matching. Talk to me about it, because I did think when that came up, I did think of you when that came up.
Motion matching, yeah. All right, bro.
Yeah.
What are we matching it with? Roblox. What's going on here? What am I actually watching? Because I saw the FIFA reveal when they spoke about hypermotion and this new way of creating like 11v11 AI and mocap and all this stuff. And they literally said, look, we can't have this hypermotion tech on the old generation consoles because they're just not powerful enough to run the tech. But Konami's motion matching can run on mobile. So take from that what you want in it. Like that shows you the level. And I think for me, that's the most disappointing thing from a gameplay point of view, is knowing that to accommodate the crossplay of mobile, the game is being stripped back. And it's not even about graphics at this point. Like a lot of people think next gen is just graphics and that. It's not. It's intelligent AI. It's proper realistic physics-based collisions and stuff like this. This is what next gen brings, not just graphical fidelity. And if you're looking to run the game on a mobile and a console and play against each other, it has to have the same animations. It has to have the same physics. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to pair them two players together. So having, a brand new next gen console, but releasing a game that is able to play on my smartphone, that's not the next gen promise that they gave the fans, regardless of what the graphics look like. Do you know what I mean? It's not just a graphic debate at this point. And that's my issue with it. The gameplay is not, they said they're taking PES to a new level. I didn't know the new level was the fucking basement. It's so bare. It's going to be so bare bones. Bad.
Before I come to you, David, what did you shout, or what went through your head when Neymar took the biggest side touch you've ever seen to get away from a defender?
That was just the noise of just
Yeah, the disappointment spoke volumes there. I understand what you got. I never actually thought about it like that. That you know what, it does have to run on mobile as well. And
that's what I'm saying. Like, people are saying, it will scale up for console, maybe visually, but the core elements of the gameplay, the physics, the way the ball moves, the way players interact with each other, the AI, the intelligence, the way the defense moves, the way the attacking runs move, that all has to be the same on every platform. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to play. Like, if I had next-gen AI on the PlayStation version and I was playing someone who had mobile AI on the mobile version, it wouldn't be a fair match because my AI would be infinitely smarter than his because I have a next-gen console.
Yeah.
But if you want it to be a fair and even playing field, which is something that they stated in their press release, it has to be fundamentally the same game across all platforms. So that becomes unfair to the next-gen guys who have been waiting for this next-gen experience because they've been using buzzwords like next generation of football gaming and all this stuff to be given essentially a mobile game. Like, it's insane. I can't actually, I just don't know how they came to this decision. I do. Pound signs and dollar signs, basically. That's why the new logo looks like a euro.
I love it. I love it. I mean, Wes, what was your thoughts, obviously, with PES Mobile? And you can see that the pendulum has swung from, that game that we all love to it's catering more to that PES Mobile audience now going forward. And obviously a lot of those, I hate to use the term hardcore, but all the elements that make PES to us have made way to what makes it the mobile game.
Again, the overriding emotion is disappointment. It's anger. It's frustration. It's all of those things rolled into one. It's not just one single feeling that comes in. It's just I understand that there is a business there, but as I alluded to, in comments I've made before, it would have cost them nothing. Realistically, it would have cost them nothing to take everybody with them on this journey. It would have cost them absolutely nothing to go. Master League's going to be in from the start. Edit mode's going to be in from the start. All of the modes are going to be there. It costs you nothing to take them with you. And I just think it's such a kind of a PR kind of own goal, to pardon the pun, to not even think that that's the thing that people are going to react to, because when we saw kind of the roadmap and things like that, you see things like to be confirmed, and it's like, hold on a minute, your game is potentially going to be out in 2 to 3 months, and you're still trying to confirm whether the stuff's going, what this stuff is. Like, surely somebody there with the decision making would have gone, do you know what? Let's just strip that out. Much like the guys alluded to yesterday, let's strip that out. Let's not have it there, and then, like you've said, start to drip feed comms going. Oh, well, by the way, we've got an announcement coming on X date at X time. Tune in, see what happens. Bam, there you go. Oh, we've got something to be hyped about. What's coming? Oh, brand new mode. It's called this, and this. This is what it does. Here's your UI that you'll be using, etc., etc., etc. There's so many easy ways for them to go, but it doesn't seem like they want to go in those directions. And that for me is the frustrating bit. It's not necessarily the direction they're going in. It's the decision making and that communication. You know, I said it when they were talking about, oh, do you know what, this potential, when it was coming down the pike. And I'm like, yeah, if that's the way they're going, great. But that communication's got to be nailed. But we know historically from communication, it's awful. It is awful. There's no getting away from how badly they can communicate this. To come back, I know we'll go into later in the podcast, to come out a day later and then be like, oh, by the way, this is what's happening with Master League. It's like, well, hold on a minute. First of all, you were trying to tell us it wasn't PES yesterday, so why are you calling it Master League now?
Good point. Very good point.
Why is it not PES yesterday, but now you're using a PES term?
Like, Messi's got the pictures hours written on his kit.
Yeah, it's just I don't understand. That's what I mean. That's the point, is that we've said this before, that there isn't a community go to. There isn't anymore. It used to be Asim. It used to be. They never recruited anybody to take that role. So as a result, we're all kind of left in the dark, and we're all kind of left to make sense of a press release. We're all left to draw our own conclusions, when realistically, if you're a games company, you should be going, right, X, Y, Z, it's clear as day what you're getting. It's clear as day how you're presenting it. That should be the end of discussion, because then it doesn't lead to, as David called them, PES conspiracy theories. It doesn't lead to, well, are we going to get this? Are we going to get, are we going to have to upgrade further down the stretch? Are we going to have to, can we turn off the matchmaking? Can we do this? Can we do that? It shouldn't be left to these questions. And then furthermore, I think I saw something today where it was like, oh, well, we're going to get potentially some more information late August. I'm like, late August? Like, it's a month away. Like,
6 weeks away.
You can't tell me you can't put something out in the interim that is a bit clearer than what you put out yesterday. And it's just, that's what I mean. It's the communication, it's decision making for me. That's where this really boils down to. If they'd got the communication right yesterday, maybe they'd have stood a chance. Maybe the firestorm wouldn't have been as bad as it was on social media. But it was just a hailstorm yesterday. Literally, everybody that I saw from streamers to fans to players to the lot, unison. Like I said, they accidentally united a community yesterday when they didn't realise what that impact was going to be.
I mean, David, have you ever seen the PES community come together with the same feedback as you have over the last few days, in a way?
No. Wes has hit the nail on the head there in terms of they accidentally united a community. I mean, PES community is not small. PES got a massive community.
Yep.
But what I see is like a small little section of it through like the streams and the content creator side of things and Twitter and stuff like that. And it's always kind of like, there's always kind of like a PES civil war going on, whether it be regarding scripting. Like, some people believe in scripting and momentum, some people don't, and they clash. And then some people you have the offline guys and they want that to be the focus, and then the online guys want that to be the focus. I've never seen the community just down tools and be like the Simpsons pitchfork mob. Just like, nah, this is not on. Like, I literally, apart from like maybe 2-3 naysayers, and I'm sure they're Konami undercover agents or something, because I don't see how anyone could support this direction. But apart from like a couple, every single person, whether it be on Twitter, on Twitch chats, YouTube comments, even the Reddit, which is like the saltiest place on earth, even they were like, nah, this is a mess. Like, yeah, I've never seen it like that.
It's like that part in Game of Thrones where they realised the White Walkers have broke through the wall, and then everyone suddenly goes,
it was like,
oh god, we got to sort out the White Walkers now. Oh, so Yeah,
it's not about the seven
Starks,
kingdoms of script anymore, bro.
It's not about the Iron Throne. We just need to survive. Like, but that's the level. I think that's, and again, that comes with having an older fan base in as well. You know, yes, there is the kind of unspoken or kind of, you know, they're not a vocal majority. You know, you're not going to get mobile users that actively pile onto social media. You're not going to get the players who they're probably aiming at be on social media or be anywhere in the Twitch chat or be anywhere close to it. The people that you're seeing are all of these people who grew up with this franchise. You saw RIP PES trending yesterday. You saw, Konami trending yesterday. But when you dug into the hashtags, it's, do you know what? We all remember like PES 5 when Adriano had 99 shot power. You know, we all remember Van der Birch, like from MLO and finding like people in MLO, and there was this outpouring of like, do you know what? That's much older down. That's that done. It's like, I'm officially old now. Like, that's kind of where I went with it. I'm like, great, I'm old, awesome, great, cheers, thanks for that. I'm only 31. Thanks for that, nice one. Like, it was just, and yeah, it was. I've not seen a guttural reaction or a kind of a visceral reaction than I saw with all of that yesterday. I've never seen an outpouring of it like it. It's very unheard of. It's a kind of an anomaly, I would say.
And David, look, what could they have done differently? Let's say it's
everything.
What would have been the ideal one for you? How would it have gone for you?
I don't even know where to start. I mean, if we're just going on what they like the news, they kind of stealthed it out as well. Like I said, they didn't acknowledge it for ages. Then they kind of stealthed it out with the name change on Twitter and stuff. The press release is kind of a mess. The roadmap's a mess. They mentioned cross-platform 3 different times. It says a lot of stuff without actually saying anything. I think if I was to just pick one thing to do differently, which is very difficult, it would just be the way they've communicated the information. There's not a lot of information there anyway, but the way they've communicated it is just so messy. Like you said, they didn't mention Master League or anything. The only reason they've put that out today is because they got absolutely blasted about it yesterday. And they was like, yo, we have to kind of put something out.
Well, a noise has been made because usually you don't get sites picking up on this sort of stuff. But I saw Push Square, which is a respected PlayStation site, a lot of traffic, and they have changed their, Konami have revealed eFootball, but it's not the way the fans have wanted. They've picked up on it now, and they are picking up on, okay, this is not great in terms of the feedback.
And the thing is, it's a domino effect. Like Wes said, he saw Rip PES trending, Konami was trending, even Silent Hill was trending by a domino effect.
But it's like
so we've even got like Silent Hill fans on our side now. The Metal Gear community have come out as well.
Don't get me started on Survive. For God's sake, do not get me started on Metal Gear Survive.
Literally, it's not just the PES community anymore. It's all the other fan bases that Konami have alienated over the years. Like they're like, we feel you boys over there at PES because we've been shafted in the same way by the same company.
Did you see the,
But yeah, to go back to your question, I'm going to go off on a lot of tangents today. I'm just
that's why I let him run.
I just run my mouth so much.
Fire away, mate. We'll sit back. You carry on.
If I had to choose one thing, it would just be the way they communicate. Like, I don't think they have someone whose job it is specifically, like a community manager or something, to not put out the fires, but just give us some of the, because we have so many questions, and they must have understood that it was going to get a lot of questions because they're doing something completely different. You're not just changing the name, you're changing the model with free to play, you're changing the way the game works with different platforms playing against it. Like, there's so many, they must have known that we're going to get so many questions, and there's no one to answer them, which is why, like, you get these conspiracy theories and you get these people say, like, speculating. Speculation is a bad thing, especially in this sort of situation, because people buy into the speculations. I see accounts with like 50,000 followers saying, I did a playtest the other day and it looked class. Bollocks, did you do a playtest? You're lying, right? People buy into it though, and then, actually, it might be right. So then you get this second wave of disappointment when Konami come out and it's all bollocks. I don't even remember the question.
No, it's about the one thing you change. I think you're
everything, to be honest, mate. Honestly, everything.
you're kind of again, me and David have very similar views in some respects, but I think we're kind of unison at this point. It is the communication that was such a letdown yesterday. All it would have took, and again, in my field where I work in an IT, work in an IT department, and the particular field that I work in, your actual job is to think, okay, well, if I do this action, what is going to be the 5 or 6 questions that lead off of that, right? So what you necessarily need to do is go, right, if I put this out, what is then going to come off the back end of it? And then how do I answer those questions? All it would have taken would have been an incredibly detailed FAQ, and it would have put out a lot of fires, because it would have been like, oh, okay, well, what does this mean for offline? Well, offline is this, this, and this. These will come in future updates via blah, 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 blah. This may include this will include a league mode, or whatever, kind of stuff that they wanted to come out with. All it would have took would have been a really clear FAQ. And people could have just gone, right, okay, well, all of our questions have been answered. Or failing that, you take what you released out to the wild and release it, have a closed audience. Like, for example, you take your PES communities from around the place, or you take your content creators from around the place, put that out to them and go, right, what would your questions be at the back end of this? Because then I'll tell you something now, if you'd then done that, again, you would have then had it cut off at the pass, because then, okay, well, we'll do an FAQ, we'll batter these out. These are all the questions, these are all the answers. And then that way, then you could have put out what they put out yesterday, but then you could have gone, do you know what? If you've all got queries, we all understand you haven't heard off us in 18 plus months. Bang, there's your FAQs. That's all the information you'd ever need. But instead, there's this kind of drip feed notion of, we're going to give you a little bit, and then we think that that's going to be okay, which, as you said, I think that them coming out with that new news today was a direct result of the firestorm that came yesterday.
Yeah, it's damage control, 100%.
And whether they wish to admit it or not, they pay attention to Twitter. They pay attention to the mentions. They pay attention to the lot. And I guarantee you, they probably weren't looking and thinking, do you know what? RIP PES is going to be trending. Konami's going to be trending. Silent Hill's going to be trending. They're not going to be thinking, do you know what? These fans are going to cotton onto this, or these fans are going to see this for what it is. And yet it comes from a place of anger, and it comes from a place of disappointment. But it's only because you want the game to be as best as it possibly can be. It's not coming from a place of going, everyone goes, well, we just want PES to fail. Like, no one, anyone wants it to fail. Everyone wants it to be the competitor to FIFA that it was back in the day.
Yeah.
Because the potential to do stuff with it is there. It's just that somebody needs to unlock the door. I think that once they get that type of thing in place, you will see a comparative lineup. But the problem they have at the moment is that every time that FIFA take a step back, or EA take a step back, they seem to not be able to capitalize on the space that's then created. Like co-op, for example, was a quality mode that they put in to PES before they even did it with FIFA. The issue then became is that FIFA puts it in, makes it 10 times more accessible, makes it far easier to match up, and makes it far more rewarding to play.
Do you know what? Konami had a 3-year head start on FIFA with co-op, and they had 3 years of everyone saying it's the best mode in PES. It's not like they wasn't getting any feedback. Everyone said it's the best mode in PES. Put some co-op campaigns. We love co-op. We just need something to grind for, blah, blah, blah. And they did nothing. They rested on their laurels. And then FIFA did it in 1 year and just blitzed it in 1 year. We've got co-op, like squad battles. You can get co-op rewards. If you ain't got a team, you can use your friend's team, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Like, just literally obliterated it in one go. And that's simply because Konami rested on their laurels. We're like, we've made co-op. That's it. We don't need to improve the mode anymore. It is what it is.
But do you not think that that's more a case of how they make their decisions, in the sense of if they are and again, I'm only taking this from what I've seen them put out. Do we believe, between yourself and Sonny, do we believe that Konami are driven by data? If they're driven by data and they're saying, I don't know, 0.4% of people are playing co-op and therefore they don't put the time into it. But then you've got all of your vocal people on Twitter that are saying, yo, actually co-op's sick.
Yeah, but people don't put the time into it because they don't do nothing with it.
Yeah, but that's the whole point. That's the whole point, is that,
I think they're driven by horrible decisions.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I just think I don't even think it's anything about that. I just think like the people that are making the key decisions at Konami regarding PES are just horrible decision makers.
I think as well the history has shown with Japanese companies in this industry, there has been a part or a number of years where they rest on their laurels. Sony did it, PS2 to PS3 completely rested on their laurels. They suffered from it. Capcom did it. Konami are doing it, or have been doing it for a long period of time. Square Enix as well, over the PS3 era with all their games. There just seems
Final
to be
Fantasy
this...
X2 was a disaster.
Exactly. It just feels like these Japanese... Let's be honest, right? When the PlayStation 1 and the PlayStation 2 was out, the Japanese video game industry, from a development standpoint and from a management standpoint, was the best in the world. But something switched, and the Western development community and the way those businesses and publishers and developers are operated, it took it to a whole new level. It raised the bar. It adapted with the times, whereas Japan was still going the old-fashioned way of doing things. I mean, I can imagine how many eyes that roadmap must have gone through before it was approved at Konami, and nobody once said, that's a bit too much yellow, or we need to change the color, we need to tone it down. It's too much.
I don't think they have a graphic designer in the entire building.
Because that roadmap, I was shocked when I saw that roadmap. I was just like, okay, wow, I could have done way better than that. Speaking about the roadmap, what was your thoughts, Wes, on that roadmap? Obviously, in the fact that the way they had it, what was written in there with the content and the way it was structured, compared to other companies who can put a lot more information in a roadmap, a hell of a lot crisper and a hell of a lot cleaner.
Yeah, I think the me was the lack of detail. You can look at it from a design standpoint and say, yeah, the design wasn't there. It's the ambiguity. It's the mention of autumn and the mention of early autumn or late autumn or early winter. Like, those are not specific dates. Like, I think I saw somebody turn around to me and go, well, do you know what? Actually, winter could mean March. Do you know what I mean? Like, it could. Do you know? But do you get what I'm saying? It's like there isn't the specifics there. It's not great. You've got, like I said, you've got to be confirmed stuff in there, and I'm like, again, if your main prerogative is now going to be, let's try and get brand new audiences on, right, and a brand new set of people looking at it. Again, you compare it to EA Play or EA Play Live, and you compare it to other games companies, and you're going to make the natural comparison to FIFA regardless, because they're the exact same genre. If you look at the differences between the presentation between what FIFA can put out versus what PES is playing, it's night and day. It's completely different. With EA, it's specifics. It's this. Even when they have, we've got a title update. It's like, yeah, actually, we've seen all of these issues. Pitch notes. We've got all this. The what is it? Minor gameplay enhancements to improve enhance your experience.
Global
whatever
gameplay
it is,
improvements.
Yeah, and I'm just like, okay, so what does that mean? Like literally, what does that actually mean? Because if you're going to go out and put a data pack out, and again, that's another thing where people get hepped up on. They'll go, do you know what? The game changes data pack to data pack, and no one knows why, because they put out that vagueness of going, well, it's minor gameplay enhancements to improve your experience every time they put out like a new batch of boots or kits or balls or whatever. And everyone kind of goes down this very much either a placebo effect or it's something that's real, depending on your standpoint of, do you know what, the game's slower or the game's quicker or the AI is worse or the AI is better. And it feeds into it, yeah. And it should never be down to a games fan base or community to make sense of what the games company are putting out. They need to be open and transparent with everything that's going on here, because ultimately people are just going to down tools. Like, I've seen numerous streamers, numerous content creators go, yo, do you know what? I've actually purchased EA Play and I'm going to go and play FIFA 21. And no doubt some of these people will then go and play, the eFootball because it's free, because that's what a lot of people will do. I'm going to try it because it's there and it's free. But at the same time, it's more a case of just to see what they've done to the thing, because it kind of feels, I think you put it, look at, they've massacred my boy. Like, it kind of feels as though you've taken the essence of PES, ripped it out, and then have injected whatever it is in eFootball, and it's just not good enough.
From what I've seen, they've completely stripped it bare of any PES DNA that was remaining. They've been slowly chipping away at the PES DNA over the last couple of years, right? Like, player ID was always a massive thing in PES, which is one thing that elevated it over FIFA. Like, if I controlled Messi, it felt like Messi. If I controlled Ronaldo, it felt like Ronaldo. I feel like that's been dwindling a little bit by a little bit, year on year on year.
Yeah.
It's becoming more and more just a generic football game. And this has kind of just like ripped out the last remaining pieces of PES DNA. Like, but to talk specifically about a roadmap, like what you were saying was about, it's very ambiguous, it's very vague. I feel like that's on purpose because then they don't have to be held accountable to certain dates. So for example, if it said, you know, team building mode, fuck me.
I thought about you again when I saw that. I was like, yep.
Team building mode. Are you shitting me? Like, I know it's a placeholder name, but it's just a bad placeholder name as well.
Just put online modes to be confirmed. Just literally, that would have covered all of it. That would have covered both the team building mode.
It's like I said, it says a lot of stuff without saying anything. Yeah. This roadmap. And
I was going to say, David, the first section, early autumn, local matches using renowned clubs. It looks like it's going to be a demo to launch.
It is a demo. It's an online demo like we've had every year, apart from last year, because it's the same game as 20. Right. So just write demo. Right. Just write demo, not all new game engine rollout. No, it's a demo. Right. You've got 9 teams in it. And, you know, it's a cross-gen demo. That's what it is. If I'm on a PS4, I can play PS5. If I'm on a PS5, I can play against PS4. It's a cross-gen demo, early autumn. Just put a date out. You must have a date for a demo. It's insane. And then, like I said earlier, you've got 3 different sections talking about cross-gen and cross-platform. It all says a lot of stuff without just saying anything. Yeah. Like, you've got winter esports tournament kickoff. The average Joe who's playing this game, and now you're going to have more average Joes because it's a free-to-play model, don't give a shit about the esport. Like, they don't. The only way you get people now watching esport is because they type 100 coins in the chat trying to get their MyClub coins. They don't care. So it's not relevant to the people that your audience that you're talking to right now. The people that care about the esports and that are interested in becoming an esport player or playing for the esport team or watching the esport, a very, very small minority. So it doesn't need to be on the roadmap right now. There's bigger things to talk about.
I put that
mobile controller support has its own tile. Mobile controller support just put that at the bottom. Mobile controller support, just as a little thing. Doesn't need its own tile. It's like I said, it's saying a lot without saying anything.
Yeah, I mean, I put the trailer across to my pals today, and you know they are FIFA players because that's that's kind of what drew me in was the social aspect of FIFA is that my pals play FIFA. Therefore, do you know what? I'll give it a bash because I haven't really given it a serious bash before. Didn't really understand squad builders. Didn't really understand all of this stuff. Now that I've got the hang of it, absolutely love it because you know what? I know that 6 o'clock every day. There's going to be an SBC, there's going to be an objective, there's going to be something to do, and there is something to do every day of the week.
And they do all that without taking it offline for 6 hours.
Yeah, and then you don't have a maintenance period on a Thursday. But it's like, Monday, you've got squad battle rewards. Tuesday, Wednesday, you've probably got like a silver stars objective where you pick up a 74 rated player. Then you've got silver beast that you could probably fill out. Then you've got Wednesday's a little bit of a dead day. Thursday, you've got foot champs and rivals awards. You've got Friday is foot champ starts, Saturday, Sunday, and then Sunday rolls into Monday. You get your squad battle rewards. That is where. And that's the competition that eFootball or PES is now going into. You're going to go and line up against something that is very well established. This, Ultimate Team has been going since FIFA 09 when it was a downloadable DLC. Yeah. It's been going for nearly 11 years now, right? These guys know what they're doing because it's a cultural touchstone. I use that term quite a lot because it's what all the players will lean to, when you've got for example, if you've got like Villa and we're like part of their like media will be like, yo, actually, let's play guess your stats on your FIFA card.
Yeah.
Or like you got banter between the players where it's like, do you know what? Like, I think it was one last year where they were talking about Adama Traore and he was like, no, I should be quicker than that. And I should be stronger. Like, it's like,
Carl Walker was in training moaning that his speed has been downgraded this year or something like that. Like,
But it's a cultural pin because then all of your fans of your clubs then see it, which then bleeds into okay. Do you know what? Well, if this is the game the guys are talking about, I'll give it a shot. Like it's just they are caught lacking in realms that they can't be caught lacking. They need to be perfect at every turn to get into the conversation. A lot of people, when I speak to them, socially, like kind of, work and stuff, they'll go like, oh, what's your PES United top doing on? I'm like, oh yeah, I got this last year kind of thing. And they're like, whoa, is PES still going? Like, because there's no way, because when was the last time you saw a TV? When was the last time you saw a TV ad for in the UK for a PES game? Like, you don't see it. You don't see an advert for it. It's all gone down the line of FIFA.
I have a funny story similar to that, right? So I was selling a phone on Gumtree, and obviously I had my profile picture up, and it all went smooth. And the guy WhatsApped me after, and he was like, "Are you a professional FIFA player?" And I was like, "No, why?" He was like, "Oh, because your profile picture." So it was the one when I was at the tournament in China playing PES.
Yeah.
So I messaged back. I was like, "Oh, I play PES," and he was like, "What's PES?"
Yeah. But here's the thing, and that's what we're saying is that if
I blocked him, I was embarrassed.
You were just like, that's not running. That's not running. That's an immediate block.
I love it.
But it's like you're trying to capture your new audience, and this is their first touch on it. Regardless of where you've put it, regardless if it's on YouTube, if it's on Twitch, if it's on TikTok, if it's on the moon, right? That is where your first touchstone is, and this is what you've released to this new audience. And somehow, somewhere, somebody has made the decision or the call to go, do you know what? That's going to catch eyeballs, Ace. But it's called eyeballs for all the wrong reasons. That's the issue. They could have put out some incredibly positive stuff yesterday, which everybody could have been like, do you know what? This is class. But it's been buried underneath of no Master League mention, no Become a Legend mention, no edit mode mention, no nothing. It's all been to do with, oh, well, here's the roadmap for the online stuff. And it's like, okay, great. So what about your offline fan base that got you to the dance? You know, I don't play offline, at least anymore, right? I don't beat the drum for the offline players, but I understand the frustration that's there because you know what? They get told each year, do you know what? We're going to make improvements. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to do the other. And I think we've kind of like over the last 2 or 3 years, we've heard the same spiel. We've heard do you know what? We're going to make improvements to this. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And then it's like
3-year plan.
Yeah, but it's the same type. But yeah, it's the same type of thing that you hear, and then it ultimately leads to disappointment, which is why I think everybody who's a PES fan now is just an ultimate pessimist, and everyone just goes, "Well, it's just like David said. Like if you now think you're just going to go, well, this is just going to be terrible." Like, and that's where we're at. We're at as a community of now going. Do you know what? As much as we all want to try and get behind the game, we want it to be good. The steps that you're taking are not the steps that the community, I think, have asked for, nor have they requested. You know.
Like you said, there's some positives. Like if you look at it in a specific way, being free to play for a lot of people in certain countries, like Brazil, I see a lot of people on the Reddit and that saying, you know, we can't afford PlayStations. It's like 3 months' wages and stuff like that. So being free to play and being accessible to everyone is a positive, right? It's not a positive if it affects the quality of the product, because like I feel like being again, like you said, we're just pessimistic because PES is indoctrinating us to be pessimistic. Like when I see that they went free to play, the first thing that popped in my mind wasn't, you know, it could be a positive because it's accessible. The first thing that popped into my mind is they can use that as an excuse now for their failings. Yeah, because then when they don't do something right, people can just like, oh yeah, but it's a free game.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like, again, if you are Konami, then you are going that way with it. You're going from creating what in inverted commas was a AAA game to now going to, well, it's a free to play game.
Yeah.
That doesn't let them off the hook. That's not a pass for you to go, well, we're just going to do whatever and just see what happens. No, you're held to the same standard because you're going from the makers of PES and from, you know, you're plastering that everywhere. So it's like, okay, we're going to hold you to that same candle. We're going to hold you to that same.
I think it holds them to a higher standard because if your game is free to play, right, then it needs to be good to make me want to spend money in the game.
Yeah, like, and it needs
if it's free to play, I download it and it's dog shit. I'm not going to go, actually, I'm going to load up some coins. Like it has to be fundamentally good to capture me enough to want to like spend on a game that is free. Like, for example, the way Fortnite did it. Fortnite came out, it was a different kind of like format to what people had seen before. And they was just updating it, new stuff, fixing issues quick, like getting stuff done. And that is what encouraged people to start spending money on skins and stuff like that, because they'd proven themselves that the game quality was good, any problems was going to get fixed quickly, and they had a plan for content to keep people engaged. And that is what made people trust them enough to spend money. From what I've seen from this game, I don't see how anyone would spend money on it.
let me throw you a sidebar, a glimmer of potential hope, a tiny speck of light at the end of the tunnel.
Okay.
Hypothetical scenario for you guys here. Final Fantasy 14 was destroyed by its community when it came out, and it was a long time to get that to just an acceptable standard by that community before it grew from there, right? No Man's Sky, probably the biggest public fall from grace, and again, it took years for that game to grow to where it became acceptable again. What do you feel eFootball has to do? And let's say it's got a year to do it. So let's say this time at the end of 2022, we're happy. Let's say content creators are really happy with the game, from the way it plays to the content. What is that? What does that look like to you? How do they do that? David, we'll go to you first because you're the content player here.
So what do they need to do in the next year to kind of...
So where they are now, you look at where they are now. So let's say they do a year of what you need them to do. It's not going to be the perfect game in a year's time. That's going to take years, and they know that as well. But for you to be like, okay, you're going in the right direction.
Okay, all right. They need to... Their content roadmap, not just this roadmap, but they need to have a content roadmap. So they need to have a plan for daily content, because that's the kind of competition they're up against with FIFA. FIFA has daily content. So they need to have a daily content. And I'm not talking about recycled content like they do every Monday and stuff. There needs to be engaging daily content, reasons for people to actually play. They need to support the game in terms of bugs and quick hot fixes and patches, which is something Konami don't do. They do not patch their games. If there's a bug or an error in the game, they go, wait till the next one. Here's what it is. So they need to be on the ball with supporting the game and fixing any issues and bugs and stuff like that. They need to get some sort of community outreach going to fix the damaged relationships that they currently have with the community. I feel like they need to embrace the community more as well. Like the PES community is so powerful in terms of what the modders do and the option file guys, and you have people running like 11v11 leagues and full manual league. Like the community is insane at what they do. And I don't feel like Konami engages enough with the community and gives them enough back for what they do. Mm-hmm. That would be a start. Them three things. So, engaging content, supporting the title quickly and efficiently, and trying to figure out ways to build bridges with the community. That would be my three things that they would really need to do well over the next year to even try and repair some of the damage they've done with this announcement.
Wes, you look at Destiny, I spoke about it yesterday as well, bare bones, barely anything was happening to that game. And let's be honest, it never really kicked into gear until the Taken King expansion came out, which I think was their third expansion. So it took a long time to get there. But again, that was Bungie as well. This is Konami, Do you feel like, obviously going to a live service platform, as Asim mentioned the other day as well, they need to have hired a lot more people to have dedicated teams for dedicated areas of this game. Do you think Konami have done that? Because they haven't spoke about it. They haven't advertised positions and, to the level that you think that they would need to keep this game running consistently and cohesively for an entire year at least.
Yeah, I mean, the worry is that we've got the match pass, and I think the worry with that is as David's kind of alluded to, it's like I may have been out of the kind of the PES loop for a season, but I still dip in and watch people's kind of streams. I still go in and watch. I keep tabs on everything, because it's like, you know what, you still want to keep your ear to the ground, and you still want to keep your ear into whether anything changes, and the stuff where you see kind of like 7 or 8 different types of featured player, like there's about 14 different takes of Messi's that are flying about the place. Like there's all kinds of different like kind of levels of recycled content, for lack of a better way. The online challenge cups are kind of rinse and repeat. It's kind of like you'll see it, and then like 3 weeks later you'll see it again, and another 3 weeks, and they'll kind of work in rotation. I think Dave is right. I think that the competition, they with that match pass, they are now putting themselves into the realm of putting them up against FIFA's season pass. And for that to happen, if they go down the route of it's earnable in game, that might do some good for relations, because if it goes down the line of, you know, oh, well, you know, you get your match pass, but then there's like a premium one that you've got to pay money for, I think that's where they'll lose people again, because it'll be, okay, well, you know, I've been screaming out for it for the past year or so. Give me a reason to play the game. Give me a reason to earn my way through the game. Stop leaning so hard on microtransactions, because you don't, clearly from some of the revenue reports that we've seen, you don't need the cash. So just invest a little bit in giving back to people. And then again, as David said, that will maybe start to heal some of the raw wounds at the moment, because again, we're a day or so out of hearing this trailer, and opinions and thoughts and feelings are raw. If we say, for example, I mentioned it yesterday, if we get to release and by some magical miracle, it's like the best football game there's ever been, you'll see a full, you know, retraction from me on every podcast going.
Me too. I would eat humble pie.
I want to be proved wrong here.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I think anybody who's putting the challenge to Konami, they want to be proven wrong. It's not coming from a place of, we're just here to criticize because we're here to criticize for criticize. It's
without a doubt.
We want it to be as best as it can be. And I think if you're talking about things that Konami need to do in the next year, I think one of them is they need to be able to accept criticism. Like, they can't just live in this bubble where they think that, you know, the sky is blue, rainbows appear everywhere, the sun is shining. It's actually not, because there are people here who can quite clearly see where there are pitfalls. You know, some of the custom UI interfaces that I see built over the last 3 or 4 years, I'm like, good God, somebody just deploy them, please. Because it's like, please give us something different, instead of, you know, oh, well, we've revamped the menu system, and then it turns out you've just, instead of taking from the neon of PES 2019, you take it to the mauve. It looks like David's background. Do you know what I mean? Like, it looks like that color that was in the menu. Like, do you know what I mean? And it's like, oh, we've redone the menu. It's like, no, you've just put a different palette on it. Like, come on. Like,
that's why David's got the color. He loves eFootball, isn't it? 2021.
Yeah, man.
But that's my point. It's like, you know, there's these marginal. It seems like they either go too far or they don't go far enough. They don't find the sweet spot. You know, like I said, they've gone with crossplay, but they've gone too far with crossplay. If they'd have gone to the exact place they needed to go, it would have been met with the frustration that's been seen. It
would have been celebrated if it was like,
yeah, everyone would have been like, oh, Xbox PlayStation,
and PlayStation can play each other.
Yeah, because you know, and it maybe even to a lesser extent if you'd have put PC in there. And
I don't mind PC if there's an anti-cheat, right? If there was an anti-cheat and they had PC crossplay with PlayStation and Xbox, everyone would have been like, that's superb, because there is a major problem with wait times for games at the moment. So bringing all 3 of them platforms together, smart move. You know, if there's an anti-cheat on PC that we don't need to worry about people lagging out and all that stuff, everyone would have been on board with that. Everyone would have celebrated that. But like I said, they went too far. Like, no one asked. I don't think even the mobile brands were like, yo, we really want to play against the console dudes. No one asked for that. Yeah. No one wanted that, dude.
Or at least no one that I saw who were filling out the surveys that seem to go around when they say, oh, we'll give you X amount of GP for filling it in. Nobody that I saw was like, oh, do you know what? This is a great question, because I'd love to play against mobile. I don't think
it gets pushed back. I think it's going back. I think they've put it in a roadmap just to say that's what we're going to do, but I think it will go back. I don't think it will be ready. I'm not confident in them getting it working to a reasonable standard, if you know what I mean.
I think it's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take, if that's the route they're going down, then I would hope to God or whoever is in charge here that they have road tested it, they have double tested it, they've made it's gone through user acceptance testing, it's gone through SIT, it's gone through all of these different levels of sign off. And if it somehow sails through and then it's a bag of pants, then we can all sit there and be like, well, hold on a minute, you've said that you've tested this. Like, I'm not going to lampoon the game for its gameplay right now. That will come if it's on release and it's awful, or if it comes on, you know, all of those things. There's pointless us going into it in a deep enough state there. We can blast the trailer, sure, because we've seen that's what the trailer is. You know, the fact that Neymar takes one step and the guy looks like he's off to the hot dog stand to go and see whether.
I thought he got subbed off.
I thought he'd gone into the next postcode, to be honest, and he just got stuck there. Like, it's like, but you know, we can lampoon the trailer, we can lampoon their communication, because that's all we've got to really go on at this point. Until we then get a demo, and until we then see that this kind of drip feed announcement of where they said that Master League's now coming as a DLC, which again, it's a fundamental of a football game that you're trying to take away and put it into that.
Do you think
level.
that was their plan all along, or do you think they've just said that because of the backlash?
I don't think they've gone, oh, do you know what, a day after we're gonna release this info. I think they've probably been inundated with either support emails, tweets, like you said, Reddit. Everyone's been kicking off because it's the mode that brought you to the dance. That's why RIP PES was trending, because everyone remembers the original Master League 11 of Vorov, Stolo, and Hoyens and Berche. They remember all of these Donnies. They remember Himalayas. They remember all of these guys, and they go, do you know what? That's what it was, and why is that not there now? And that's where the confusion comes. It's what we said. It just goes back to communication. It goes back to decision making.
I don't think they had that planned. I think they planned for it to be online only, because for me the wording is weird. Like they put out this press release saying, you know, how we're entering a new era, so we had to, you know, we've gone beyond what PES could do, so we've parted ways with PES. But then they're using the words Master League. So I feel like
that's what I'm saying.
I feel like it wasn't ever part of the plan, and they've just been like, yo, just put something out and we'll figure it out later. Just say it's got to be there.
But here's the thing. That's an interpretation of what you've seen.
Because wouldn't you put something that big on the roadmap? Master League is the cornerstone mode of PES, regardless. I think that's all they put on the road.
I think they just put modes. They just classed it as modes, didn't they? That's a blanket cover for everything. They just put modes in the roadmap.
But that's what I'm saying. It goes back to the line of communication, because it's left to us to interpret it. Like, for example, David's looking at that going, well, I don't think that they were planning that. Some people might look at that and go, actually, do you know what? They've probably just like, oh, by the way, I forgot to do it. We'll put it out now. Or there's some people that go, do you know what? That's exactly what the plan was. The issue is that you've got three pots of people, just for example, you've got three pots of people that all think three different things. When if the communication had been clear and concise at the start, at the very jump, we wouldn't have this discussion. We wouldn't be sat here now. Do you know what I mean? Like, we wouldn't be sat here going, do you know what? We think this, we think that, we think the other. Because that's all we've got to go on is we think. Because, you know, far be it for me to tell people what Konami are thinking, because I don't know. And I don't make video games. And I certainly don't know what the process is behind the scenes, because I don't think anybody really knows it unless you work within Konami. Like, it's one of them.
I think one thing that you can throw back to is Konami remind me of the WWE and Vince McMahon, that he's very stubborn, very one-minded. My way works. I'm going to stick to my traditions, no matter how much the world has changed. And he always had that fallback on of what they call the WWE universe being split. People who were being negative about the product and people were being positive, and they relied on the positive. But then when they made a few bad moves and bad decisions, and it all became from white noise to one voice, they actually went out on live television and acknowledged, we're not doing it right, so we've got to do this. And I think that's happened here. I think the expectation from somebody higher up at Konami was, we're going to get positive and negative. And I don't think there's no way they planned for that level of cohesive negativity, and rightfully so, that they got yesterday. And I think, that was a panic reaction. I don't think they planned it, without a doubt, because there's no way they thought, right, we'll do that and then we'll do a tweet.
And the thing with it is that, again, if you are Konami, and like I said earlier, if you're putting this trailer out there, you need to be thinking about 5, 6, 7, 8 moves ahead of going, right, what are these people going to be expecting? What is it that they're going to ask? What is it they're going to react to? What is it they're going to find good? Because, again, if it had been where everything had been presented properly yesterday, people would have gone, free to play, that's massive, because there's no other sports game out there that does free to play. Yes, obviously you had PES, you had PES Lite from previous years, but no game from the jump goes, do you know what? This is free to play, because that is a game changer if executed correctly. Because again, that's the problem, is that yes, there might be positives in there. The problem is that they're so outweighed by the negatives and by the impression of those negatives, and because the messaging just wasn't there at all, and it completely missed the mark, that we've completely forgotten that there could potentially be positives in there, because everyone's just going, well, Master League's been taken away, the essence of PES has been taken away, the name's been changed, the like we said, the color scheme, the logo doesn't quite fit, the trailer doesn't match the teaser, and there's all of these other things that go in there, and it's just, that's what it gets muddied in.
It'll be it's interesting, I've never, not since the early WWE games have I seen a community have a singular voice and very similar opinions, and it's allowed people to discuss and get their thoughts and opinions out, which is massive. So where could it be in 6 months? Do you honestly see it as, because you just mentioned it is free to play, and that means a lot of people are going to be at work. Oh, eFootball's out. I'll give that. Oh, they're going to say PES even when
they give it. Oh, that used to be PES. Oh, they're doing something new. Let's give it a shot.
David, are the servers going to work day one?
No,
because it's
because like I said earlier, PES has been notoriously bad online for years. So I don't see how they can feel like they have the confidence to pull off 5-way crossplay. I know that's not at launch.
But it's free to play, so they're going to go up tenfold on day one than what they usually do, probably even more than that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty rough. In terms of where it would be in 6 months, I think in free-to-play games, content is king.
Yeah.
And I don't see how we can trust Konami to nail the content when they've done nothing content-wise for 5 years. Mm-hmm. Since the beginning of my club, they've been so poor in terms of content. So I don't see all of a sudden this massive change where they're going to be like, it's free to play, because it's free to play. So you need to have the content. Mm-hmm. I don't trust them to do that. I think in 6 months, a lot of the stuff that they've promised, I think we'll still be waiting for offline modes. I think we'll still be waiting for option file support, which is not there at day one.
I can't believe that.
I think we'll still be waiting for an actual robust edit mode, because they have a history of just telling flat out lies. And I think, we've had the whole, I remember before in a trailer, dynamic lighting, the shadows are going to move. Bullshit. 3-year plan for Master League. Bullshit. I remember when they said, we're doing a season update so we can work on PES 2, but we're going to have loads of content planned throughout season update to keep you guys occupied and that ready for when the new game drops. Bullshit. It was just iconic moments. So they have a history of lying. So I feel like a lot of the stuff that they're saying right now in terms of, the offline modes will come later on. I don't think we'll see any of that within 6 months. And if we do, it's literally going to be a port of Master League from this year's game, and you just have to pay for it. It won't be anything different. That's what I think anyway.
Wes, how much do you charge for Master League or become a legend modes?
Jeez.
You've got the game, you got the base game for free, and
if they're in their current state, like if they was to release it how it is now, but separate.
How much do you think,
guys? This is. I don't even know. I don't even know where you begin with that.
15, 20.
I've seen people say, do you know what? And again, I think it was an Australian. He was like, if I played anywhere between $10 and $30 for Master League and the additional modes, I'd be okay with it. Because if you think about it, you pay 50. For a standalone release, you'd normally pay 50 quid. So it's like for me though, again. If I am now in PR mode, and again, I'm trying to put on my not my PR mode because I don't work in games, but if you want to repair it, just turn around and be like, by the way, we're going to make those modes free. Like that's all you have to do, because the people who are there who are buying micro coins and going through microtransactions, etc., are always going to go through that. So yes, all right, fine. Your offline players don't want to play don't want to play my club. Fine. Do you know what? Just do a goodwill for them. Just do a goodwill and be like, do you know what? We messed up the messaging. We messed up the way that we delivered this. We messed this up. Give that to them free, and I think everyone goes happy. Because if you're talking about the revenue stream and we're talking about physical sales and everything else, and you talk about the wealth of users on a mobile platform, I think I saw somebody touting the figure of about 400 million users or fully.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane.
It's ridiculous. But if you think about it, if all of those guys spend £7 a month, right? You think
On the
about
season pass.
On a season pass, just not even on the season pass, just on microtransactions.
Oh, okay.
If you're talking like coins or whatever, if they go and buy 1,000 coins a month, right? 7 times 4. I mean, it's been a while since I've done maths.
It's about 3 billion.
It's about 3 billion, right? So if you're talking on average, that's what people go with.
That'll all go to Messi and Barcelona as usual, won't it?
Might sort out his contract dispute.
Yeah, but if you think about it, if you're looking at it from a revenue stream, they don't need to monetize DLC. They don't need to monetize it. They don't need to. They don't need to, because ultimately they are saying that their revenues majority are generated from microtransactions. And if you pop off a legend agent here or there or whatever, you've got people who will try, and if it does have the mechanism to do so, they'll do it with the in-game currency that they earn through playing the game, or they'll end up doing it through My Club coins if they've whichever way that is. You don't need to monetize a game mode. You don't need to. And I wouldn't be surprised if they see this backlash and go, nah, actually, by the way, these first 3 months, we messed this up and we're going to make this free. But on the same metric, though, some people are then going, well, do you know what? Actually, if they're going to pay for it, that means they've got to put some time and effort into it, which I hope they do. I hope that I sit here in 6 months' time or on the PESUniverse podcast or on here or wherever, or I'm sitting on live stream and go, do you know what, guys? Actually, they've banged this out the park and they've actually completely made up everything that they needed to make up. But again, as I always say, your future expectations are always informed by your past experiences. And our past experiences of stuff is to be let down. And it comes from a place of almost sadness that we get let down. You have the rosters not being fully updated on 2015. You have, do you know what I mean? Like you have
even the Euro 2021 weren't updated at the right time, dude.
Yeah, you've got like they're halfway into the tournament and that doesn't go quite when it should do. You've got all of these different kind of fumbles, to use an NFL term. You have all these different fumbles that they have. And that's the expectation that people go with now. That's why people were going, do you know what, actually, I kind of have expected this to happen. Because people go, like, I'm not actually surprised anymore. Because it's like, there used to be this kind of, there used to be an expectation, do you know what, they'll come good in the end. And that goodwill that they seem to be trading.
Yeah, we had the king is back and all that stuff. And it's like, for me personally, right, I'm not negative for the sake of being negative.
No, no.
Right.
No.
I'm just I've got a big mouth and I'm very impulsive, right? But
Really?
It comes from a good place. It comes from a good place because I want the game to be good, right?
Mm-hmm.
I care about the game. I care about the community. I care about the people that play it. And it pisses me off when I feel like they're being taken for a ride. That's why I'm so outspoken. But I'm not being negative because I want the game to be shit and laugh at it and be like, I was right all along. No, I'm negative because I feel like they should be held accountable for it. And like Wes said, I would love to sit here in 2 months' time on stream and load it up and be like, fair play. Like they've actually turned it around. Like I won't say, I was wrong because I feel like what I've said is right from what I've been shown. But they turned it around in the time up until release. Fair play. I give them the props for that. I'd love to do that. Do I think it's going to happen? No. Because like I said, like what Wes said, from past experiences, I don't see where I'd get that sort of optimism from.
Yeah.
Well,
I would love to. I would love it to happen for the community and for the people that play the game and that. But
and listen,
that's the thing. And sorry to cut in, Sonny, but the thing with it is that we as a community will sit there and criticize when it needs to be criticized. We'll also sit there and praise when it needs to be praised. I remember PES 2017 where we had the Barcelona agents, and it was like, wait a minute, we've got Maradona and R9. Oh my God. Like, we got Thierry Henry. Oh my God. We've got so many legends. We've got so many this. And that was so good because it was like, do you know what? They took a license and they used it to its full potential. Now, you can sit here and argue about the Champions League license. You can sit here and argue about the Euros license. You can sit here and argue about a lot of the licenses that they've had that they've not used to the full extent. Barcelona, with that partner agent or with that legend thing where it was like, yo, here's all of these legends.
It had so many good legends.
Reisiger, Van Bommel, Davids, like
Thierry Henry.
Thierry Henry was there. Thierry Henry was there. Like,
don't put that face. I'll see
that.
Yeah. Mate, I remember him bugging off Fabian Barthez. Don't get me wrong.
Was it 4 goals that day? I think it was.
I might be a neutral, but I know my football history. And Thierry Henry opened a can of whoop ass on Arsenal's.
Wait, was it not the flick up? The
spin the flick up and volley.
Yeah. I remember that a little bit as well.
What year was that? What year was
Don't worry about what year it was. Don't worry about what year it was.
It was the year they won the league.
You know what I mean?
But the point is that, and again, we can sit here and praise the really good stuff that they have done. The implementation of co-op, yes, it may not have been handled with the greatest of care since its implementation, but the idea to implement it, bloody great. Like there have been some great things that they have done in the past. You know, I know we'll probably go on to the viewers.
Even smaller things like Legends getting B form in live update, just little quality of life changes and stuff. I've always gave them props when they do something right. You just don't hear it much because they do so much wrong. That's what it is.
Yeah, and that's it. And it's like you know, we I'm sure we're going to talk about our pasts with kind of PES, but it's like when they introduced MLO. My God, I loved MLO. I loved MLO so much. Like PES 2011, I was just like, yo, I am in my element here. Like this was class. Yeah, he knows. Sonny knows. But it was like, I was like, yeah, I'm in my element because like I know how to kind of, you know, you'll play a couple games and you can trade up because you have to earn the right to get the players. Like it was like, yo, this is actually just brilliant. Then there was the fact that you had competitions. I'd stay up till 3 a.m. with Daniel Henry sometimes where you go and play the Champions League ones because the timers were always off. Like it was just mad. Like it was great, but it was a fun time to go and play PES. And it's like, that's ultimately what everybody wants. We want a fun football game that engages everybody. That's it. That's all you really realistically need to do. Fun game.
I think the key word there is fun as well. Like, a lot of people like shit on FIFA. Like I put a tweet out not long ago, and I was like, you don't have to shit on FIFA to prove you enjoy PES, and you don't have to shit on PES to prove you enjoy FIFA. But a lot of people bash FIFA with the stick of, oh, but it's not realistic. It doesn't have to be realistic to be fun.
Nope. Like, I play with my son. You know, my son is he's young. He's 8 years old. He plays FIFA because he doesn't enjoy Pro Evo. So I play FIFA with him, and I'm laughing because I'm having fun playing it. You know what I mean? And I enjoy it.
I'm a PES fan first and foremost, but I will happily say the most fun I have on any football game is clubs with the boys, like pro clubs.
But it's a social experience. It's a social experience. Like I play co-op with my pal, who I've been pal for like 20 plus years with. Like. Yeah, we might not win every game, but you know what? It's fun when like we see something stupid happen, or when he when he pops in like a last minute winner with like Benzema. Like,
or you come up against a team that have got 6'9" players. It's just funny. It's just a good time. Like it's just a laugh. You don't take it too seriously. Yeah, it's not dripped in realism and all that stuff, but it can still be fun and still be a game if it's not realistic. Like, I don't really like. I don't know, man. I just see so much stuff about, but maybe the gameplay is going to be good. Like, I don't see how you think the gameplay is going to be good if it's available on mobile as well. I don't see how that's going to be a good gaming experience for someone on a next gen console.
Yeah, we're in a wait and see place, and that's not where we should be. We shouldn't be in a
not this close to release.
Not this close. If you're looking at roadmap and you're looking at early autumn. Like you shouldn't then be in the state of going, well, we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Like we shouldn't be like, you know, and it sounds of bad timing. Yes, they've probably planned out the 21st as a date, and then EA have probably just punted their date in front of it. And in all fairness, it's a.
I don't even think EA.
No. I don't think they haven't done that deliberately. What I'm saying is that the essence of timing is really bad because the day before it dropped or the day before the trailer drops, you then get hypermotion, you get gameplay that you physically see, and yes, it looks very similar to FIFA 2021 in some respect. But at least you've saw some type of gameplay.
Do you know what I really enjoyed about that? That they had developers sitting there.
Yeah.
And talking through the tech and the changes. And it showed you like not flashy graphics. It showed you like red versus blue dudes. And it gave you like a breakdown of what each little thing does. I would love to have like, I can't remember the guy's name. What was the guy's name? Was it Kimura? The PES guy? Yeah. I would love for them to have done like release the stuff, or even before they release it, do like a Twitter Q&A with Kimura. Get your questions in with the hashtag Ask Kimura or whatever, and ask him some stuff. And if he can't answer it, he can just say, "Yo, we can't talk about it right now, but we can, blah blah blah." But have some of that back and forth with an actual developer on the game. I loved when EA did that. Like I know a lot of people say, "Oh yeah, but it was boring," and they were just talking about animations and stuff like that. for a nerd like me, I love that stuff. Like I love seeing
Yeah.
that stuff broken down and seeing how it's going to be implemented in a new game. Like it's not for everyone, but it gives you. I mean, if you're not a fan of that, take it or leave it. But it's better than nothing. It's better than having no information.
The industry is changing. I mean, you look at Sony; they do their state of plays. They do that. They have developers talking. They don't have voiceovers talking. They have developers who know what they're talking about.
Like you've got alcoholic PK talking about like the guy. Like I didn't understand. I don't mean to be mean, but the motherfucker didn't even brush his hair. Like he was sitting with his hand, his face on his hand, like just.
I love the fact weird. I love the fact that he was speaking at ridiculously fast speed, and the Japanese guy at the table was nodding his head and looked like,
dude,
I was like, he's not even writing anything.
You know what? I did that on stream, right? When I was watching it on stream for the reaction, I was like, he's wrote something and circled it. I wonder what he's wrote. Like, I really want to know what he's wrote. That is hilarious. It's all just for the cameras, but it's just a weird decision.
The one thing about the PES community, or to piss David off, the one thing about the eFootball community is to understand that it's like Sony and Xbox. It's very tribal. You know, you either love it or you hate it. I mean, I ate humble pie today, and I was actually happy. I ridiculed the initial reveal of Battlefield 2042. I was like, you cannot show a multiplayer game that's just CGI footage. You cannot have no single player mode and expect to compete with the likes of Call of Duty and other games. And then I shit on it hard. Exactly. And then I saw that today and I was like, holy shit, they've created something where content effectively can just go on and on.
Yeah, they've given the development tools to the community.
It's limited by imagination. That's it, you know. And I was just like, I sat there today on a live reaction. I was like, hands up, guys. I'm excited. This looks
You were there giving out. You were there giving out, and then they've hit you with the pipe bomb at the end, and you've gone, oh, damn.
But that's the thing, that I'm going to enjoy that game as much as somebody who's defended it right from the get-go. And, you know, same thing. I was looking at some of the stuff David was looking at on social media about frame by frame and Pogba. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. You're just defending.
Well, you've got literally a 360p blurry ass image, and you're like, this Pogba looks different to this Pogba in this scene. It's like, okay, so let me break this down. So the one that you're saying looks better, yeah, you're saying is from the next gen, and then they're saying, but the Pogba in the other scene is probably from like the last gen, and they've mixed the different versions.
You can't defend
the next gen one. Look at the crowd, bro. Yeah, Tell me that's next gen.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking about gaming,
there's 95 Steve Irwins in the crowd, literally the same dude.
If we're talking about gaming gatekeeping, like the one that kind of got me, the one that made me chuckle the most was when people were, you know, kind of isolating kind of parts of the FIFA hypermotion stuff, where they were like, oh, do you know what? Alaba's arm's gone through Militao at the corner, and oh, well, there's still clipping issues and there's still skating issues. And then it came to, you know, the Messi shot where basically just kind of like
I put it on Twitter, yeah.
Michael Jackson skates across like he's skating across the dance floor like to go and put a goal in, and it's like, okay, so are you gonna call that out?
Yeah, give me that same energy. I want that same energy.
Same energy. Like, I don't mind people criticizing games. Like, don't get me wrong. But if you
need to hold them all to the same standard, though.
You either hold them all to the same standard, or you don't hold any to any standard. Like, you can't pick and choose your battles. You can't pick and choose your offense. You have to then sit there and be like, do you know what? That's not good enough. Like, if FIFA comes out tomorrow and FIFA isn't good enough, I'm going to sit here and be like, do you know what? FIFA's not good enough. It's the same energy. I'll carry the same energy. If a game is not enjoyable, I'm going to carry that same energy.
Like,
it's not fun.
I'm not a FIFA fan where like people are like, oh, you know, you always talk positive of FIFA. It's not that I talk positive of FIFA. It's just Konami make FIFA look so good, like in comparison. And there is aspects of FIFA that I don't like. Like, I like the grind aspect of Ultimate Team. I like that it's not so much microtransaction based as it used to be. It is still, you know, it is still very FIFA point oriented, but there is ways to get players just by playing the game. And they've added this new preview pack thing. And
that is a complete game changer.
I really like that aspect of the grind.
Yeah,
Well,
I mean, it's like I was doing objectives today, and it's like, yeah, oh, do you know what? You can do 250 games with the silver squad, and it gets you like a rare mega pack. I open the rare mega pack, and I get myself like a special Sissoko, which, granted, as an Arsenal fan, you're probably not really going to want, to be honest. But even so, it's like do you know what? The quality of their content, yes, yeah. I mean, to kind of look at it from the FIFA standpoint, FIFA's community doesn't really like FIFA. And it's like it's strange it's a strange environment in the sense of FIFA players will come over and play PES and be like, do you know what? I enjoy it so much more. Bam, 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 bam. And then players will go the other way and go, oh, do you know what? I enjoy FIFA so much. Like I myself, I've gone across.
It's like a grass is greener situation.
Yeah, it's weird because it's like you look at the content that the game has over on FIFA and you're like, yo, do you know what? I love it. And it's like, but then you've got players who go the other way and go, oh, do you know what? The pace of the game is so much better, in terms of it's a
even from a content
point
of view. Some people come from FIFA to PES and like, I love that I can spend 20 quid and I have a sick ass team already.
Yeah.
Right. But
and there is that.
What I've noticed with the people that come from FIFA to PES, and there was a big influx, especially when like Kurt and Run the Foot Market and that was playing PES. And so a lot of people came over and they was, So they was like, I love that I can spend 20 quid. I've got a dope ass team. 2 weeks later, they was playing FIFA again because they got bored because they had this dope ass team and then they had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like if I go over to FIFA, a lot of people find it a bit overwhelming because there is so much to do.
Yeah, I did it first. I literally was like, I sat there going, okay, so what do I do?
Because I wanted to do everything. So I was like, I'm going to do squad battles on Saturday and then foot champs on Sunday. Then I've got to do the objectives. Fuck, now I need to do foot friendlies to get the silver objectives. So it was a little bit overwhelming. But when you kind of just tailor it to what you want, it works.
Yeah.
So I feel like that has a better way of grabbing someone and keeping them there. Whereas PES is kind of like the quick way, get 20 quid out of them. If they go back, they go back. We got their 20 quid. Yeah. It doesn't have that engagement to keep people.
I just hope they do come with the engagement this year. I hope that the match pass bangs. I hope that the game bangs. I hope beyond hope that
I think the gameplay is going to be very similar to the online performance test. And I remember when that came out, there was a few of us who were like, this is what it's going to be like. And they was like, no, it ain't. This is just for the servers. They've just put the mobile build on. It's just to test the servers. And so I was like, okay, so why have they fucked with pass assistant? Why have they changed fake shot? Why have they added new ways to defend if it's just for a server test? Why is the survey asking me about player faces and graphics and how mechanics work? It's just to test the servers. No, I see it on Reddit. You're just being negative. It's just to test the servers. Enjoy your fucking dead game, rude boy.
Yeah, it's
them people like that are like constantly making excuses deserve this product. Like that sounds harsh when I'm saying it, but if you've been consistently apologetic and allowing Konami to get away with murder year in, year out, not fixing shit, like just horrendous content or lack of content, massive focus on microtransactions, lack of development in offline modes. Edit mode is still PS2 levels of edit mode. Like you got 5 different fonts for the back of your shirt. Like, if you've been allowing them to get away with that stuff and keep making excuses for that stuff, this is the product you get. Like criticism breeds innovation. If you allow them to keep getting away with it, this is what you get. You get a lack of innovation. I know, but crossplay mobile could be innovative. It's not. It's stifling. It's stifling. That's what it is. There should be 2 different games. There should be a mobile game and there should be a next generation simulation football goodness that looks great, plays great, sounds great, takes advantage of things like adaptive triggers and haptic feedback and 3D audio. We're not going to get none of that because it has to run on mobile. But you get that when you allow them to get away with what they're doing. Simple as.
Well, I'm going to make sure that you finish today on a positive note. And the only way to do that is to make you look backwards, not forwards, right?
Yeah.
So we had these questions yesterday. I was going to bring some different ones, but just watching how they were answered yesterday and the reaction to those answers on social media, people, sharing their PES memories and stuff was really, really great. So I wanted to ask you guys, so where's Abel? You're lucky, Abel. You're getting double duty 2 nights in a row. Abel from the US. So in your own opinion, which entry from previous years was your closest to perfection game and why? And then we'll come to you in a minute, David.
Well, I alluded to it earlier in the podcast, and I know that the very popular answer is PES 5. And yes, from an all-round gaming standpoint, yes, it is PES 5. However, for me personally, and you're going to hear it, you've Hulk Hogan in me, it is PES 2011. I have to say that when I played MLO, and it was more for what MLO did for me, it gave me an online platform because, again, for those who maybe remember FIFA 11, the online issues that plagued that game, it's not fondly remembered. You had to go into match ratings and you had to press triggers a load of times to make sure your game didn't unsync. And then you'd if you were playing a game of clubs, you'd actually end up in a phantom game of clubs where it's like it's not really happening for the other people on the screen. Like, see, David knows because David remembers. I used to play clubs hard.
I do remember that.
Right, and you'd have to go in and be like, "Yo, I've got delay." Okay, we'll go into the rating system and press like R2, L2 like 27 times, and then you'll get back into the screen. You'd have to rinse and repeat. You'd have to go again. And it was always a thing where I would buy both games, and then I remember vividly playing PES 2011, and I remember cracking almost the code of going, well, if I play a couple of games and I trade in this player, I can then start to trade up. And then I remember going, if I trade up by value, then I can start getting better players. And then you end up with a forward line of like Kun Aguero, Fernando Torres, Wayne Rooney. And I'm like, yo, this is sick. Like, and I remember like it was that enjoyment of getting in a party chat with like I said, like Daniel Henry and some players, some old school PES players. And, staying up till 3 a.m, getting involved in competitions and me like, yo, this is sick. I've got the Champions League anthem going through my headphones like whilst I'm actually trying to compete in this thing. Like, it was fun. And that for me is always what video games should be. At the end of the day, it should be fun. It's your escape from the outside world. It's where you come to enjoy yourself. And that for me was an epitome of it. It really was.
I mentioned PES 11 yesterday. It's the game that gave me the most of that PES magic we always talk about. Every day I had a moment, it was crazy.
Yeah.
But David, you're closest to perfection in the franchise. What was it?
Yeah,
If you say the beta, I'm gonna kill you.
What beta? What beta?
If you say PES 2018 beta, I swear I'm gonna kill you.
No, I was gonna say online. I was gonna say new football game online performance test, mate. No, I'll be honest, right? I'm doing the same as Wes because I feel like everyone's gonna say PES 5 or PES 6, and they were very, very good games. I'm gonna throw a bit of a curveball, right? I really liked, apart from one aspect of it, but I really liked PES 2017.
Yes.
Apart from the cross spamming, right?
Traore. Oh.
Yeah. You had the absolute AIDS fest that is Lacin Traore up top, right? But apart from that, you had that Barcelona agent that we was talking about earlier with all them legends. And you had like such a good selection of legends. You had Reisiger Silver Ball legend. You had Van Bommel, Philip Cocu Gold Ball legends. You had the Dortmund
legends.
The Dortmund legends as well.
That
you got from playing the game, by the way.
Yeah, man.
Didn't have to open agents for them. Just beat Dortmund on legend difficulty or whatever it was, right?
Yeah.
Man. So you had all of that. You had things like the My Club Open, which is no longer a thing anymore.
Oh man, don't take me back to Viewer's Choice. I used to love doing them on a Saturday.
So good, dude.
Oh,
and
man.
You had for me, PES 2017 was the last time where we saw that team ID PES DNA. Like, I even did a Master League on PES 2017 with Sporting Lisbon, right? And yeah.
It's about Ryan Gould, yeah.
right. So I did a Master League with like Sporting Lisbon, and it was I had like so much fun doing it on stream, and you had that team ID, so you play against one team that'd sit deep. You had another team that counter down the wings, and I feel like that was the last PES where we had that kind of team ID PES DNA. And it was quick, it was responsive, skill moves were good, shooting felt great, like the mechanics were there. I feel like that was a really good game. That was the last really good PES that we had. So yeah, a bit of a curveball PES 2017, apart from Lacin Traore and cross spam.
That was one with all the Barca players on the front, wasn't it? On the cover.
Yeah.
No, that was a good game. Again, just taking you back to the memories, and that when a game can give you that sort of feeling, that's why you're so passionate about it when it doesn't perform the way it used to, where you should really be evolving only in one direction based on what criticism and feedback, but they're not taking it. But we're not going to get into that. Benjamin from Hartlepool. in regards to the franchise, what is the most frustrating thing for you that happens each year? Can be gameplay, presentation, reveal, demos, communications, or anything. I'm going to take communications out because that is your number one. That's a guarantee. So communications, as was shown yesterday, and I'm pretty sure with you guys, is the number one frustration that you have. So if you take communications out, what's the one thing that just keeps happening every year? One element of the game or something besides comms that you just like, how? Why the fuck
Only
is this
one?
still here? Only your main one, your main frustration.
Okay.
Besides the Arsenal license. Listen,
do you want to recover from that and I'll take over, David? Yeah,
I had to go a few years with the Liverpool license. That was hard enough for me as it was, man. I couldn't fucking stand that.
I would have said content, right? On lack of, but we'll be here for days. So from a graphic designer's point of view, every time they drop the first reveal, the UI seems to be getting worse. Like, I thought PES 2019's gold background was bad. And then PES 20 came out, and that was bad. And then PES 2021 season update came out where they just had like every Crayola color available. And they slap it on mint green, bit of red on there. And then now I see this. And I'm like, yellow and blue is a bold choice. To then have the team logos with a pink background on the yellow and blue is criminal from a design point of view. It hurts my soul. I would do it for free. I would do it for free.
It's crazy.
And I'd do it in a weekend for free. And it would that's not even that. It would be better. Like, that's not even being harsh. I genuinely don't think there's a graphic designer at the companies. They've just been like, you use paint. You ever use paint? He'll do it. It's fine. But yeah, so that's for me. Like, as a designer, just like the design assets and stuff.
What about yourself, Wes?
I think for me, I think it's the. It's a toss up. There's two things that run through my head. One solely from an online perspective is the inability to fix the issue of white benching. Again, for those now, for those of you who are ill-informed of white benching is a mechanism whereby
rats.
Well, yeah, I mean, David has his own word for it. You can basically put all of your superstars into a team, but then if you pack all of your bench with white ball players or like the kind of very worst players in the game, you can bring down your overall team level down to a different level. So you can go from having a 5-star like lineup, so you could have your Romarios, your Messis, your Ronaldos, everybody in there. But then if you've got like an Armenian 4th division like, goalkeeper that's like 48 rated, like,
dinner lady,
you've got like Sandra the tea lady, like who's just got like on your substitutes bench. As a result, you can then bring down your average level, which then basically makes your matchmaking skewed, because then all of a sudden you're trying to play with a 3-star team. You're like, I've got silver players that I've upgraded. I've got my Camavingas in there. I've got my, I'm trying to think of other well-known silver ball players. You've got like your Tammy Abrahams in there. You've got all of these players in there that you're like, I'd really like to put this team together. And then you end up coming against superstars. And then you've got people who are essentially gaming the system. That's from an online perspective. The inability to fix that is it hurts, because people can't do series. People can't do these types of things. They can't go and engineer a game to be like that, and it drives people to then go, well, if everyone's just going to do it, then I'm going to do it as well, and then it just breeds it as a snowball. And
I feel like they might have fixed that though.
I hope so.
If you look at the roadmap, right, and look at the match pass system, there is a gold card, which is probably a legend, and it has 5 stars on it. And then there's a silver card that has 4 stars. And then the other ones in club selection have 4 stars. So maybe players are linked to the star rating.
I hope so. Because
maybe they fixed it.
Mate, if they fixed it,
still won't get me playing.
Yeah, I mean, it's one element, but that's one element. And then for your offline players, it's, and I know I'm being it's the incremental rises in what you can do with the game mode. It's the it's the lack of innovation to Master League. It's the lack of innovation to become a legend. You know, like, yes, all right, fine. Then there's game modes I don't play, and the criticism will be, well, yeah, where's you not an offline player? Granted, I still feel the pain. I still feel
maybe you would be an offline player more if the modes were good.
Yeah, I mean, I you know, it's you still feel that pain. You still feel it. So
like you compare it to the career mode, and like there's rumors that FIFA's career mode is online career mode this year.
Yeah, because there was that advertisement, wasn't there?
You compare it to that sort of stuff, and it's just like the offline guys deserve more, man. Especially like I said earlier, what the modders do and the edit community do for that mode.
Yeah.
I was going to say I don't want to. Sorry, Wes. I don't want to get into it too much, but I know a lot of people who play Football Manager, and the inclusion of online changed that. They went from 50 years every single year in a game to going online.
Because like draft modes.
Exactly. Just having the ability to do it online is totally different.
It's again, I know you don't want to extend on it too much, but it's like Wes said earlier, it's the social aspect of it.
Exactly.
Which just doesn't seem to be there in this game, unfortunately. But I wish I came up with white benching. That was a good one.
I was in the back of my head. I was like, I hope to God he's not going to say white benching. And when you didn't, I was like, open door.
Motherfuckers on the last one. I roasted them rats.
So we had Carl from Glasgow with the final question. With the retirement of the PES name, what is your absolute favorite PES memory? Now, the guys, there's so many, and we're going to have to do a couple of shows where it's just going down memory lane. But I want a gameplay and a life moment, because we all have them, you know. For example, for me, I mentioned yesterday going with my younger brother on the bus, paying £2 at Electronics Boutique to get a PES disc demo.
Electronics Boutique, shout out Electronics Boutique, man.
Top of the Palisades ramp, and then we took our pads in a carrier bag. So when we sat on the bus, we opened the demo case, which had the controller layout, and we were practicing to play on the bus to get home, ready to go.
It's like shadow boxing at the back of the bus.
Exactly. But that was a life memory, and PES has given us so many of them. So for you guys. Wes, a life memory and then a gameplay memory.
Oh man, gameplay memory. I said to my brother that I was going to drop this memory, and it was my first rage quit, like proper one. Like it was like like when you've had something happen to you that's a violation, you just put the pad down. You're like, I'm done. I'm out. See you in a bit. It was Chelsea versus Real Madrid. It was him playing against me. We used to do best of fives when we all used to live at home, and he'd knock on my door on a Sunday and be like, do you fancy a best of five on PES? I'd be like, yeah, do you know what, I fancy it today, I'm gonna do it. Like, nah, it didn't happen. Throw-in comes in, and it's literally, I'm gonna say probably about that much away from the halfway line. Throw-in comes to Roberto Carlos, and he just hits shoot. And I'm talking like on the vol. I'm not even talking. The man didn't even have the audacity. He didn't even have the respect for me to take it down. Literally, it came off the throw, and he's volleyed it. And I've seen it going. I'm like, there's no way this is going. There's no way this is going. And then literally just say, like Kudicini does that animation where it's just like, and it sails into the top corner. I literally went controller down. That's it, done. And it was in the days of when you could save replays. So he saves it on the memory card. Yeah, dude. And it's just it's a violation.
It's forever immortalized as well.
It's just violation. It's like, do you remember when I did this to you? Bang, it's on. I'm like, oh my God. And then it's like the rainbow trail effect that you could buy in the PES shop. And dude. It was like, you could just see the reverse swing. And I was like, oh no, this is pain. Wow. But it was the thing that that started off my competitive streak in my family, which then led to my successes in later life, where it became, do you know what? This is how good I want to be at this game. Mm-hmm. And if you're talking life event from it, I mean, I could pick so many. There's obviously the advent of becoming a part of PESUniverse. There's meeting so many friends out of this whole different thing. Like you said yesterday, the connection you have with people, like meeting Asim in Barcelona, and shout out Burger King. We will not talk about what we ordered, but damn it, we ate like kings that night. Like, and it was just looking at each other going, we don't talk about this. But I will always say to him, we always very much in the Casablanca state, we always have Barcelona. Right. But for me, I think the crowning achievement was commentating on a European Championship, whether it's a virtual one or a proper one. The fact that I got to commentate on an Euro 2020, the fact that I commentated a final where I called the right result, where a lot of the guys were going, yeah, Serbia got this. And I went, no, actually, I've got Italy in 4 games here. And then Italy went and won it in 4 games. And I was just like, yeah. But the fact that I've kind of, my hobby has now become a side job almost, but it's become like, it's become something I never would have dreamed of. If you just said to me, do you know what, when you re-enter the community 4 years or 5 years down the line, you're going to be commentating on esports and you're going to be doing this, that, and the other, I'd be like, get in the bin. No way, not a chance. But I think that's kind of my abiding life memory is the fact that I got to come, like I got to broadcast on a UEFA channel. Like I've actually done it. Like that's me now. I could walk away tomorrow. I'd be like, do you know what? I've done everything I can do. Like there's no more I can do.
That's it. David, gameplay, lifetime.
Gameplay's a difficult one.
That Carrasco goal that you scored, that'll live in infamy, that will.
Light work for your boy, isn't it?
Of course.
No, do you know what? I'm going to go something a bit more recent, very recent actually. About maybe 6 months ago, I just modded the shit out of PES 21 on PC, and it looked insane when it's modded. And then it was me, Pirate, Precision, and my friend Lewis. We jumped on Parsec, which allows them to play as a virtual controller.
Yeah.
And we just did like a 4-man, like all on the same team, full manual with broadcast camera Master League. Started in the French 2nd division with Paris FC. It was just so good because not only is it difficult when there's 4 of you, you're playing full manual from the broadcast camera. So when you get that nice little 10-pass move going, and then he whips the perfect manual cross in, and you get like a far post header, which are really hard on manual, by the way.
And then everyone gets gassed.
And then everyone just gets gassed. Yeah, exactly. So a bit more recent, but yeah, that's some of the best PES I've played in years when we was doing that. And the only reason we stopped is because my PC died and wiped all like 300 gigs worth of mods, and I just couldn't redo it.
I'm amazed this lasted this long through the recording.
I know, right? I know. Don't mention it though. Don't gas it, right? Because it's literally like 32 degrees in this room, and I've got the side panel off. But yeah, so that definitely is one of my favorite PES memories, just because it's just, again, the social aspect. Like you said, we scored and everyone just went nuts. So good. So good.
Amazing. And then life?
Probably when a Liga Sol flew me and Pirate out to China to compete for the UK. That was so crazy. Pirate, I hadn't played PES for like 6 months.
I remember being on a Discord call with you.
Pirate DM'd me and he was like, yo, you want to go China? And I was like, what? He was like, you want to go China, play PES? I was like, bro, I haven't played PES in 6 months. What are you talking about? He's like, I've got a gig, 2v2. They need someone to represent the UK. And they told me to find a teammate. Are you down? And then literally 2 weeks later, it was in China playing PES. It was fucking bananas. They paid for everything. It was crazy as well because it was Tianjin, so it wasn't like westernized part of China. It was still very rural China. So
I remember seeing the videos online.
It was like being a celebrity, dude. Yeah. It was like being a celebrity. It was insane. The people were queuing to take photos with me. And I was like, this is nuts. And it was all just to play PES. And the guys that we played against, we went with so the European teams that went, it was the UK, Serbia, Kepa and Rosca, Jose and Mestre for Spain, and actually it was another European team. It's Brazil as well, which was Guifera, Alameo, and we just spent 5 days in China playing PES and just having a good time, man. It was nuts. Like we went down to eat. Serbian guys stayed in their room and just played PES relentlessly, practicing, and we had the room next to them. We just had this massive just furniture being moved around. I was like, what the hell is going on in there? We went in there. I was like, what's going on? It's like Kepa's just beat Rosca at PES, and Rosca was just trashing the room.
Oh, mate, that guy's a Hulk, bro. You don't want to get in the way of him.
They was literally just having a friendly game because he beat him. He just trashed the room. It was such a good 5 days, man. But yeah, definitely that is one of my favorite personal memories.
It's so funny. Like so many rooms have been trashed over our life with PES, but there was I remember one. So if you ever fly to India, a cheap way to do it is by changing in a small airport in the snow called Ashgabat Airport, and the layover is like 4 or 5 or 6 hours, and there's nothing to do in this airport, and the chairs are plastic, and it's annoying. So I remember once me and my brother and a few others, we were going to India, and we were sitting in Ashgabat there, and I could hear something that sounded familiar. What the fuck is that? And then I went for a walk, and I just looked, and they had a PS2 in the security office, and they were playing Pro Evo.
No way.
I was like, oh shit. But I didn't hide the oh shit. I got audibly excited. And they all turned around, and gets up with a gun across his chest. I'm just like, and he's like,
you're like, relax, bro. I just saw Adriano. Leave me alone.
No, but that's the worst thing. I should have relaxed when he picked his. I did. You play like this.
And you were pointing with him with a finger, and therefore he was like, right.
No, dude.
Take the safety off.
It's one of them. Like they were like, doing the gesture because they were playing for money. So I whacked out the cash, right? I was like, let's go.
Oh no.
You know what I mean? And let me tell you something. When you go to a foreign airport where they walk around with guns, don't batter them in Pro Evo. Because that's exactly what we did. Like me and my brother went there, spanked one guard, spanked the other guard, gave the pad to my brother. He spanked him. The problem is you can't hide the cockiness and the confidence that you get at the game.
I had to laugh yesterday. I had to laugh yesterday when I listened to your pod and you were talking about going to Windsor on a PES day. And you were talking about how somebody was like, do you know what? If you're on a community site, I'm going to go easy. David knows where I'm going with this because David was in the room when this happened. Shit. Yeah, he knows where I'm going. He knows where I'm going with this. So I sat down with
a Shogun. Come outside. He just wants to talk.
Yeah, I just want to talk. I just want to shoot him. I just want to shoot. No, a Shogun who is I would say a mutual friend of mine and David's, and you've had on the podcast before. Yeah. So we're all doing like kind of rondos of like there's 4 screens, and we're all doing kind of like rondos of like, we'll do 2v2s, we'll do all of this stuff kind of thing. And then Shogun was like, do you want to record a one from our channel? I was like, yeah, sure, whatever, yes. And then the video is still up because I watch it from time to time and I just want to have a chuckle. And it was one of those ones where it was like everything went right for me. I think it was Liverpool versus Liverpool.
Oh, fucking hell, I'm done with
this. And all I can say is that the room kind of stopped when it was 3. Like the room stopped, like everyone stopped their games and started to come around, and then it ended up being 7, and then it was like everyone was looking at me going, you can't do that to somebody on a
Bro, it's like a public execution.
Yeah.
When you shouldn't watch, you shouldn't watch, but you have to watch, bro.
Yeah, that was like a forced video on Pornhub or something.
It was a violation. It was an absolute violation, and to this day, I still apologise for what I did to him.
Yeah, you're savage, bro.
But if you're gonna come out of Brummie, you best not miss. That's all I'm gonna say. Like when somebody was giving me the big one, they're going, "Oh, by the way, you're not the best PES player." I'm probably not, but you know what? I can handle myself. And on that day, it was just it just lined up.
I remember do you remember Birmingham had Games Fest one year? It was like a big expo. It was like in conjunction. It was as big as Eurogamer. I think it had like 2 years. First time I met Daniel, he was there giving it large on the Konami stand.
But Daniel Hendry is a bona fide legend because he will offer anybody out regardless of skill level. He'll just be there going, oh man, I will kick your ass, man. I'll kick your ass.
I remember
like, he'll proper go in and he will literally offer out anybody. Like I
said to him,
but he's so nice.
I could sense that from him. So I said to him, if you beat me, I'll give you a promo copy of every game we're gonna have on show, which was like Ghost Recon, Assassin's Creed. There was a couple of other games, and he was like, okay, what about you? I said, okay, if I'm beating you by 5 by half time, I get 5 of those PES balls that you're giving out, because they had those limited ones. That's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Mate,
bro, you
didn't even get to half time. He gave me the balls in like the 35th minute.
Oh man. Honestly, I love that guy to death.
I love Daniel. I've only ever met him once, but he put me on the phone to his wife.
Oh yes, so yeah, I known him back from like kind of FIFA 10 club days. So then when I found out that he was like, he was like a PES League admin as it was. Like, and when I used to go to Blackheath Library, where he used to run events and stuff, like he'd meet me, be like, "Yes, Wes, yo man, oh this is sick, bro. Like it's so good to meet you." Like, and he'd be like the nicest person in the room. Like he'd I think he had a soft spot for me because when it was like you started beating people who were quote unquote known in PES League circles, he'd be like, "Yo, man, you're not ready for Wes. Like, you're not ready." Like,
he's the best hype man.
He's a hype man. Yeah, you literally just carry around like a voice, like a Stream Deck voice thing of him. Just activate it at any time. He will make you feel 100 feet tall. That guy. Yeah, I love him to death.
It's just a shame about the team that he supports, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he's a gooner. I mean, there are quite a few gooners in the community, but, you know, we let him bounce. We let him bounce.
Like, I was waiting for Dave to see. Does Dave remember who Daniel supports?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
Well, you know what? It's a great way to end with laughter, you know. But, guys, if people who are listening want to chat to you guys about eFootball, PES, ISS, memories, the future, they want to see you stream, where can they get at you? So, where can they get hold of you?
So I'm at WezerFC on Twitter, and I'm also on Twitch at WezerFC, twitch.tv/WezerFC as well.
Excellent. And David, about yourself?
You can catch me ranting about PES at It's David Fish on Twitter, and you can watch me ranting about PES on twitch.tv/It's David Fish. Yeah.
Excellent.
Probably if you tune into my streams, you're probably going to see some weekend league at some point. So
yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I did see that jokey tweet you put out where you were just like, "It's the
look at us."
Look at
us. Not me.
I didn't. Yeah, I didn't.
I was laughing when I saw that. I was like, see, this is what it's about, bringing people together, just having a laugh.
At this point, I'm just tweeting memes, bro. I'm just memeing it at this point.
But listen, if it's entertaining and it gives someone a smirk before the tribalism kicks in, then it's a smirk that counts, you know. And guys, I want to say a big thank you for making the time. We said it's like a repeat as yesterday. I said 1 hour, fucking 2 hours.
Just start staying 2 hours from now.
No, because then we're gonna go free. Because then you're like, right, let me look at the notes. Let's
just be like, first hour we're getting out all the things that we really want to get out, and then an hour run off for like basically just chat.
That's it. You know, midway through this, it was so weird. You might have noticed I had an alert coming up saying that your time's running out and the meeting's gonna, and then it said meeting ending. I was like, shit, I need to sign up. So I was signing up to make sure that I didn't run out of time because I didn't know what was gonna happen. I was like, oh no, this is gonna go.
Imagine if it just cut us off mid-sentence. It's just like The Sopranos, just goes to black.
If we were talking about any other game, I'd have been like, look, guys, we're gonna run out of time. But when you're talking about PES, you know, that means so much to us, and we want to keep talking. Thank you guys for taking the time today, and we'll definitely get you back. We're gonna have to get Wes, David, and Shogun on an episode, and that story's gonna have to come out, right?
Honestly, bro.
Just to hear it, we're gonna hear Shogun's side of things, right? There might be.
Wait till you hear the toilet story. That's what I'm saying.
Bro, he's not going to be happy that I mentioned the 7-0. He's just going to be like, yo, that's a repressed memory.
You've just mentioned it again.
I know. I can't help it. Once it's on the line, it's like, yo, you got murked in the snow. Like, it's fine.
Oh my god, guys. We're gonna tell it. I'm gonna tag him. I'm gonna tag it. I'm gonna tag a quote, and I'm gonna tag it, and then just see how he replies to that one.
It's a violation. It's a violation.
But guys, thank you very much for tonight, and everybody who's watching, please subscribe to the channel. You'll see more people from the PES community coming together to talk about PES, eFootball, ISS, memories, the future, content, gameplay, everything. There you go. Look at that ending.
Oh Jesus!
He's bought it.
If you've made it this far, then that is literally the Easter egg to end all Easter eggs.
That is it. That's it. Guys, we're just going to leave you with that. Good night, everybody.
See you later.
See you later.